From Puebla, it's Austin, Texas, this is Stacker.News Live!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker.News Live. My name is Carl. My BFF Keyan and Topher Scott's in the house. Hey, everybody.
He's at least seated at the table. He doesn't have a microphone, so he's yeah. He's off camera. He's just keeping a close watch on, making sure we don't say anything too silly.
I mean, we're going to talk about quantum today, so maybe he'll come in and talk about that stuff. Keyan, how was your week?
It was great. I binge drank one of the days, and then another day I went to a Theo Von, would you call it a concert? Show. Theo Von show. Because he's like getting close to recording his special. So his material should be, or was presumed to be ripe and ready for, I think he's been touring with that material for like 3 years. And it was good. It was a good show. He seemed kind of agitated or anxious, but otherwise it was a good show. There were lots of bits in there I thought that were very strong. And yeah, it's always weird. It's always a bit of a dice roll when you go to a podcaster that you find funny and you go to their stand-up show, because sometimes it doesn't translate. Sometimes they're funny in an interview situation or, just in front of a microphone with a camera, and then at other times not on stage. But Theo's funny on stage, and he has a lot more, his stage presence. It's like more physical than I would have presumed. Anyway, that was my week. How about yours, Car? How was your week?
It was good. I had a birthday week. Had like 2 birthday parties this past week.
Wow.
One with my family, one with you guys.
Whose birthday was that?
My birthday.
Oh.
And then it was cool, man. We got really drunk. Me and Keyan got really drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that was fun.
Yeah, we set this place on fire, dude. The roof was like actually on fire.
Oh, it turns out it was just a dishwasher.
Yeah.
It was a dishwasher on the 4th floor.
I asked the security guy. That's what I said.
Yeah. I didn't even know dishwashers
could smoke. I thought they were full of water.
You would think, right? You would think that, but maybe it was the electrical behind the dishwasher. So I think I could think
they're usually underneath. They said it was an old dishwasher.
They use a different voltage, don't they? Like they use the same ones, the same as the refrigerators, or no?
They use 120 volt usually.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a great week. And it's also Holy Week this week, so a lot of stuff going on at church. So it's just been. Yeah, it doesn't usually happen, like where my birthday falls into the same week as Holy Week, but it has happened in the past, like a long time ago. When I was younger, it was the last time it probably happened. But when it does, it's always like really kind of special. It makes it a really special week for me. Cool. We're going to jump into the top. I should say, if you've never seen this crazy show before, it's called Stacker.News Live. It's the front page of Bitcoin. Bum, bum, bum. Pay to post and earn sats. Last week's most popular video was the, where was it at? I saw it was it was the Elon one. So apparently when we were talking about Elon, a lot of people tuned in for that. They love Elon and the Terrafab stuff. If you didn't see the sharks and cocaine one, that was a hilarious segment. You should probably look at that. And then we'll almost post you more stuff there. So yeah, check it out.
Check it out and don't subscribe.
Check it out. Don't subscribe.
Yeah.
Just watch live. The other thing I was going to say is, I think that's it. Let's jump into the top 3 stories this week. The number 3 top story this week is Watch Bitcoin's mempool as a live traffic simulation. This is highway and space theme from Rob Revolver. 6 comments, 9,458 sats. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, it's just a fun visualization of transactions coming into the mempool. Visualized as cars on a road, and you can kind of and then there's like a little graphic on the bottom there where you can see the transactions coming in and waiting to be mined at a red light. It's just a kind of, I think they're polling mempool for this data and then visualizing it. I don't know what the extreme fear one means.
We should add Frogger so you can play Frogger during this. That would be a lot of fun, because imagine you just like hop there and be like, oh, I'm crossing.
You can also switch it to space mode.
You go hop crossing there, and then you go over there, and then you hop crossing.
I've never
there.
played Frogger.
Like, I think that would be pretty cool. And then you get to the top, and maybe it gives you like some Bitcoin or something. Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants to give you Bitcoin. If you hit next to where Classic is, if you hit space, it'll switch to spacecraft rather than cars.
Yeah.
Do you not want to hit it?
No, I was listening to what they were saying. We have some people that are visiting the lab right now at the same time.
But you were saying yes, like you were responding.
Yeah, I know. I always do that with you. You finally caught me. I'm just kidding.
I just wanted to make. I know you don't listen to me, but I wanted to make it clear
listening,
to
but
the
I was
viewers.
I was literally listening. It's
viewers.
just like there's people who are here trying to come inside, and I don't know what's going on because it looks like
Listening involves actually processing.
I wish I could point the camera this way so people could see what's going on. Looks like an altercation. Anyways, we're gonna keep rolling. So this is cool, Keyan. I like it.
Glad you like it.
Yeah. Who made it?
I don't know. Someone just zapped it a lot. Someone shared it, and then someone zapped it a lot, so it made it into the top story.
Ooh, space.
They're probably German, I think.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. See, this one we could do like a Galaga. Oh, man. Just go boop, 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 try to shoot them down like little aliens.
Is that, you made like a Blue's Clues voice there.
No. That's cool, man. This is really neat. Yeah, I'm going to probably just throw it on this TV all day, right? I mean, who doesn't want to look at this?
I mean, this is a more fun visualization than like all
the other one that we have there.
Yeah,
Whatever that one's called.
it's more fun to look at.
Yeah, I like this one.
Or we can make
This
our
one,
own.
yeah. Cool stuff. What did the Stacker say? Top comment was from Scoresby. He said, "This is great. Did you come up with this idea?" He said, "I just found the spaceship version." Somebody else said NGL. Oh, Blockchain Book said NGL. This is cool.
Oh, I wonder what Schmitty shared down there.
Oh, Schmitty shared Truckyard.live. What is this? Oh, this is another one.
Ah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Oh, cool. But it has it visualizes truck transactions.
This is kind of cool. Whoa. And then you submit a transaction? A transaction?
You can broadcast them. I guess.
Wow. I bet you there's like somebody should make like a whole list of these. I bet you there's so many visualizers. I only know like the big ones. But
I know there was a South Park theme one,
really?
where like kids getting onto a bus and waiting at like a bus stop.
these
That
are
one's
always
pretty
neat, man. These would make like a really good like widget on your watch or something, or on your like phone. You know what I mean? If you could shrink it down that high, that was small.
cool. Yeah, they're fun.
They're fun. Look at this one. This one's speeding through. Oh, wait. Did I stop him? Oh, I did stop him. That's cool. Wait a second. We can stop him right there. 7 sats per VByte? That's kind of pricey. 2 sats per VByte? What's going on? Anyways, yeah, that's cool. So check it out. txrush.com or the other one, which was called truckyard.live. We're going to go to the number 2 top story this week. It's Personal Sats Inflation, Part 5, March 2026, featuring QOQ numbers. This is from Unboiled, 8,058 sats. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, so Unboiled did another monthly update on their Sats inflation. We covered this, I think, about a month ago on Stacker.News Live, where they described the Sats per unit change that they experienced as they paid for things like electricity, fuel, milk, and phone data in South America. And up until that point, I think they've been doing it for I don't know, a year or so, at least the time that they were located in South Africa, and they could spend Sats on these things. It looked like they were experiencing inflation as priced in Sats, and it was. I think this year was maybe their best year in terms of deflation, and from the tables that were up there before, you could see that they're paying less, 11% less in electricity, 8% less in fuel, 5% less in milk.
Milk, yeah, that's interesting.
So, and although they didn't have data for phone or water, they estimate that they probably would have paid less in Sats this past month. So that's good news for their Bitcoin, for their holdings, and they give us an update on their plans for the rest of the year. I guess they're leaving South Africa because they're a nomadic family, and they're going to be traveling across Europe and Asia until winter. Well, until South Africa is back in summer. And yeah, and so they won't have an update for us, and they don't want to do exchange rate pricing. They don't want to pay for things in fiat and then tell us what that costs them in sats. They think that kind of messes with the experiment a bit, or the purity, which I think makes sense. So we'll have to wait until they go back to South Africa 6 months or so from now, and for the next update. But that's it. There was a bit of sats deflation this past month.
Yeah, that is interesting. So they basically have lived just with sats, huh?
At least for as much as they can.
That's cool. Very
Only
interesting
possible
numbers.
in South Africa.
Is this the same people that shared like all the photos and stuff, where they were mining too and stuff, or is this a different?
This is from Unboiled, who I don't think they've shared much in terms of mining.
It looks like there's one from before too. So
Yeah, that was the one we covered a month ago.
interesting. Yeah. So was it better? Oh, it looks like it was better. Interesting. And then you go back to part 3. Oh wow. Yeah. So it looks like they've done better over time.
Yeah. Before, in most of the posts in this series, the Bitcoin price or the exchange rate was
I
falling.
feel like these type of people we should get for like AMAs, man. Like
What would you ask them?
really interesting questions.
I just meant you could probably ask here on this podcast, and they might hear it, and in the next post they might
Probably not
address it.
listening to this, right?
What'd you say?
They're probably not listening to this.
Fair. I
looks
don't
like
think anyone listens to this. Why would they?
It looks like Scoresby's asking, "Thanks for doing this. This is an excellent series, and one to which I always look forward to. Well done. I just want to say, really enjoyed this. Look forward to." Yeah, here goes. Stacker said, "Do you see much more BTC adoption in SA these days? Do you feel safe and whatnot?" And he goes, "I do notice more interest than in many other places, but that may be well because I know a lot of Bitcoiners." He said, "Do you feel safe? Yes, but I also know what to look out for, which situations to avoid in, which areas during what times." So yeah, interesting. That's cool. Well, thanks for posting this on Bold. I look forward to the next one next month. The number 1 top story this week is Foundry 7-block streak. Luck or structural edge? Question mark. The consecutive block ADV. This is from Saru. 11,400 cents. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, so Saru did another Bitcoin data project, I think, or no, Bitcoin Data Labs project, where he, following the seven consecutive block streak that we saw from Foundry recently, that we covered on the last Stacker News Live, which also coincided with a 2-block reorg. They went and looked at whether there was anything stranger than you'd expect going on, because most of us kind of assume that a miner will mine blocks in proportion to how much hash rate they have, and so that means that they should be getting 2 consecutive blocks or 3 consecutive blocks with over time at a certain average, and it appears that these consecutive blocks happen more frequently than we would estimate, which suggests that there are other dynamics going on. And so they investigated some hypotheses related to what could be going on, things like header-only mining, mining empty blocks, things like pools colluding with each other or sharing block headers with each other before they've broadcast them to the rest of the network. Are you listening to music, or
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay, and I just have like such a musical cadence that you like to dance to it. And then I think another possibility they looked at was pools not somehow hiding their hash rate. They call it ghost hash rate or ghost mining. They conclude they didn't really see any evidence of anything like that. It mostly appears to be a block latency thing. So you broadcast them, and a lot of if miners are co-located or near each other, they're just more likely to get the block headers sooner, and will begin mining faster than other network participants in that That's likely why we're seeing things that look a little, that's why we had the block reorg. And yeah, I thought it was, it's pretty cool. You can go in and kind of really dive deep in this stuff. They use data from the BNOC project to do this work. And then and then before that they used data from, I think that Lop had archived from his node that he had shared on GitHub at some point, I think. But yeah, I love this stuff. It's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to know what to think, and people can say a lot of things without backing up with data, and this makes it easy to back stuff up with data.
Yeah, check out the GitHub. Suru posted it here. Yeah. Suru Komar /Bitcoin-mining-pools on GitHub. Man, this looks really, really like in depth, man. He's added a lot of stuff since the last time I've seen this site, which wasn't too long ago, actually. Cool stuff, man. We got the top comment from Scoresby. Said, your forensic dashboard is pretty awesome. I'm shocked that I didn't know about it. Great work on this. I think I need to spend a few days looking at it. There's so much there. Suru said, thanks, feedback. Welcome as you explore. I've been debating whether to expand the pool profile behavior section. Would be great if it actually helps miners decide where to mine. Optimus said, I also like it. Yes, SP2 would be great to see, or even anything proprietary from large pools like Ocean's proprietary solution. Cool stuff. Nice. And that's the #1 story this week on Stacker News Live. We're going to jump into Womble's picks. Womble's Womble pick this week. Blocking the Internet Archive will erase the web's historical record. This is from Zus Post Rico. 2 comments, 1,766 cents. Keyan, did you read this?
I did read it.
Yeah.
It was Wombo's pick. So I'm fiduciary. I'm somewhat, I don't know what the right word is, but I'm obligated to read these when Wombo picks them. And it looks like this is written in response to the New York Times blocking the Internet Archive from archiving their articles. Usually, oftentimes when stuff is behind a paywall, many of us will go to the Internet Archive and ask it to archive the article for us so that we can read it without having to get behind the paywall. And the New York Times is now blocking that, so basically we won't have a historical record of any of the content on websites like New York Times, and they expect other publications to follow suit and more websites to do the same. And New York Times, I think, defended this by saying they were trying to protect themselves from AI scraping them without them getting compensated. But their argument is it kind of ruins this historical record that we have, where we can prove that a publication got updated without, making a little notice on it, telling people that they updated it, or, it just helps us keep track of things that have happened over time to these sites, and things that have happened in the world in many cases, because a lot of stuff that happens in the world gets reported on the internet. And so this is maybe, we don't want to see this trend continue, is kind of their argument, and they hope that people don't do this. I experienced this week, even before reading this article. I was trying to archive something from the New York Times. There was a story about a guy who runs a GLP-1 online company, mostly staffed by AI, like a variety of AI agents that made like $2 billion, or expects to make $2 billion in revenue this next year. But I couldn't get it to work, and I didn't know why. And I guess what happened was this: the New York Times stepped up their defenses against, a kind of what some people might call scraping,
Gatekeeping. Happens in the real world too. That's interesting. He had a question. Let's see if we can go back there. Let's see here. Is the New York Times on the wrong side of history in trying to prevent web crawlers and AI from assessing their news articles? Keyan, what do you think?
Well, I don't know what sides history has. I think this is a short-term thing for them. I think they're probably trying to increase subscribers. They probably would like these AI providers to pay them for any training data they are unintentionally creating. And so I guess that's why they're doing this. I think long term it will hurt them. I think long term it will hurt their relevance. I think they're going to not be served in AI results. They're not going to be referenced there when these bots want to provide references to things or customers request it, because they won't even be part of the training data, and those bots won't be able to crawl them to like use them as a reference. And these bots are increasingly the way that we interact with content on the internet. So I think they're just going to continue to lose relevance. I mean, I don't know what the right solution for them is, but with technology, you tend to have to lean into it. It kind of has a direction to it, an arrow, and you can't really fight it. And I think that's what they're doing, and I think that will end up hurting them in the long run. It might help their quarterly subscriber numbers or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of see it a different way, but not too much, just almost like slightly. I think the biggest thing here with, like, he was talking about history. I think what Womble's trying to say, like, how will this kind of play out through history? And the only thing I can kind of equate it to, Womble, is like it's kind of like when when people knew how to write, and then the Bible started getting spread everywhere, and then we saw it again with like the Gutenberg press, right? That was another thing. And this kind of reminds me of that kind of moment now, where maybe AI is kind of like that kind of technology, where it's just shifting the way people share things and remix things. And maybe we're entering that kind of like moment in time. So I don't know if that's the right side or the wrong side, but that's kind of where my intuition's kind of telling me that's kind of where we're at. And then as far as like the other question he had in there was like the web crawlers thing. Yeah, I think as far as that, I think I agree with Keyan. It's like, it's kind of one of those things, like those people need to get paid for their writing and stuff like that. But it's like, how do you figure out how to pay them in this kind of shift? But it kind of goes back to, like, if we go back, we look through history and we see that, maybe there's like one person in town that knew how to write and knew how to speak or that language or whatever, or write in that language, to say, like, what happened when, like, all of a sudden everybody knows how to write and has a pen, So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, maybe they didn't get paid the same. Maybe they got paid less because now everybody has it. So I don't know. Just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that answers his question or not.
Well, only Wumbo can decide. Wumbo will pick who answered better.
Wumbo's Picks. We'll see you next time on Wumbo's Picks. Yeah. There you go. Boog. You'll like that one. We're going to jump into the AI stuff. I want to share this one because Carvalho wrote this, and then he posted it on Stacker.News. He kind of posted it everywhere, but I don't think he got a lot of traction. It's called The Age of Social Intelligence. This was a fascinating one. So he kind of writes his kind of this kind of thesis of, like, AI is eating the world, and, like, what is the next big thing? Everybody's trying to predict that. And he kind of just goes, kind of talks. I don't want to say he's not going to talk. He's talking his book, but he's talking about how, like, PubKey's trying to change that. And I thought he did a really good job of explaining, like, he says it here. For most of human history, social intelligence was intrinsic. You knew community, reputation traveled by word of mouth. Trust was earned in person, tested over time, and contextual. You didn't trust your butcher, all that sort of thing. And he goes, but now discovery became algorithmic. Reputation became captive to accounts you don't own. And he thinks that's where, a lot of this stuff is kind of going to start changing. And this is where he's been really harping in on the semantic social graph that he's been talking a lot about. And I don't have to go too much into it, but I did want to share a video here at the bottom. And they kind of go through PubKey. And you can kind of see, like, how he's implementing that in there.
Add an emoji here.
I think one of the most
And the
interesting
cool part is
things
you can
I've used it. I haven't
actually
used this latest version.
tags.
Are the tags? I think the
So,
tags are the most
well,
interesting thing when it comes to PubKey. But he's definitely taken a different approach, and we've had him on the show before, and he's kind of explained this before. But
the important
just
thing
wanted to share that
remember is
because I feel like John always puts a really strong effort in like getting his points across, and then he also does a really good job of trying to get feedback on those points. So just want to share that. Keyan, did you check this out? Have you played with PubKey at all?
I didn't see this. I tried it during their private beta that they invited, I think, mostly developers and other people who are developer adjacent in Bitcoin too. So I'm familiar with the concept, and I tried the BitKey wallet or PubKey wallet. I don't know. Is it BitKey, or is BitKey the block wallet?
Yeah.
Maybe they both have the same name. Yeah.
Talk about BitKit.
BitKit. There you go. BitKit wallet. That's it. Yeah. And so I'm familiar with what he's trying to do broadly, and I think it's an interesting, compelling approach to solving some of the problems that either traditional social media has, or problems that Nostr is taking a slightly different approach to, and I think it's pretty cool. And I think John also recently was renewed. It's not a grant, but I think his team received funding again from Tether. So they're gonna keep building out Synonym and PubKey, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
It's kind of cool. I feel like now that we've kind of seen Synonym kind of play out the past 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been, I do get the sense that he's kind of like their lab, that he's just kind of like, he basically just is able to paint, right, with his team. And I think that's probably the coolest thing about that specific company. It's just like, and John has like these really big ideas, and a lot of them are I would say they're definitely, someone needs to address them. And it's cool that that somebody like John is actually like, going after these big ideas, and it's money well spent in my opinion. So anyways, just wanted to share that because I thought that was a good article. The other one was let's go to this one. The OpenAI acquires TBPN. I don't know if you saw this one, Keyan, but OpenAI acquired the podcast network, a podcast network that's like really popular on Twitter.
Yeah. I never watched their show. I do see their clips in my feed on X occasionally, but it always looked like super dystopian and like a parody of a news show or a podcast, which it just kind of distracted me aesthetically, and so I never watched them, even though they'd have guests that I wouldn't mind hearing from, because it just seemed like they were trying to fuck with me. And hey, so maybe that means it's a great pairing for OpenAI and the dystopia they plan to create. You want to line up the symbology and the aesthetic. I wonder what they're going to do with them. I think you shared a tweet in that thread from Sam Altman where he's like, we bought them because we like them. They're not going to do any. They're not going to promote anything from OpenAI, or say, hold. What is it called? Like, hold back your punches. Hold back. Pull punches. They're not going to pull punches towards OpenAI. And then why buy them? It doesn't really make any sense. But so I suspect there will be. This is like a Washington Post type acquisition, maybe. Like when Bezos acquired Washington Post and would kind of like push narratives. Like if they're not going to be directly doing OpenAI promotion, like lobbying on a social platform level, they are probably going to be shaping tech narratives that suits OpenAI, or he's just like outright lying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they were really popular on Twitter. because I think they would get like the most views, the most everything, just based off of what I've seen. Like I would see their clips all the time. Especially when it comes to the AI stuff, they're just like, if you're doing AI and you're not on Twitter, you're kind of missing the boat on what's going on in AI. And these guys would always have some of the big names on their thing, and they're really young. They're like really young guys. Apparently, I think he said it in one of the tweets that they knew them, or they knew one of them knew Sam, and so I guess through YC, through the YC days. So it was really cool to see that. I guess that relationship has kind of flourished, and so it also felt kind of like it was probably, I'm not gonna say planned, but it was definitely talked about, probably over dinners, I'd imagine. But really interesting stuff. Looking forward to seeing what kind of happens next, because this definitely gets me on their radar now. Because I wasn't like you, I wasn't really a listener. I was more of like a clip viewer. But what I did see in the clips, I definitely liked. I think the interviewing style that they do, like the back and forth interviewing style, is like really, really good. It's like really top notch. And then, but I'm going to probably be following them more closely now, because, I mean, outside of them and what's the other one? The Jason Calacanis podcast?
All In?
Yeah, outside of that one and this one, I don't know what other podcasts were at that level on Twitter that I would see. But, I mean, it makes sense, Sam buying them. Interesting. Cool. The other big news that was kind of, I don't know if anybody's talking about this, but I saw this, that Blockchain Boog posted this week. U.S., or I should just read the thing. Japanese and U.S. companies have announced the launch of Portsmouth Consortium under the U.S.-Japan Strategic Trade and Investment Agreement to support large-scale power generation and AI infrastructure development in Piketon, Ohio. I don't know if you saw this, but that's a lot of Bitcoin. Here, let me close that. Right there. 9.2 gigawatt. Topher, what do you think about that? 9.2 gigawatt.
It's enough to travel back in time.
No, what do you think about that?
Do you think you can travel back in time with only 9.2 gigawatts? Like once we eventually have time machines,
what did
or
he say?
have OpenAI design and create our time machines for us, and with Optimus robots. Yeah. Do you think it'll only take 9.2 gigawatts?
I don't know. I'm only going by like Hollywood math here.
Okay. I'd love to see that math textbook, Hollywood math textbook. But
they're going to invest a total of $500 billion to break ground on the data center within this year. That's incredible, and it's in Ohio.
Bro, I guess they're near all that water, so they're probably like a lot. There's probably a lot of hydro in Ohio, I imagine, or I know there's coal up there too. Probably got all kinds of wattage up there.
I guess Boog got the early leak. I guess I don't know what's going on here, or he follows all this stuff, right? Boog's thoughts was in eye-watering 7.5 million Bitcoin is crazy. KMI is getting in on this action. This AI race is something incredible. I really do believe it's getting so big. If anything starts to fail, expect a bailout! Exclamation point. Boog out. That's what he said. Boog out! What do you think, Keyan?
About what?
About what Boog said there.
The AI race is incredible, and it's getting big, and it might fail.
Exclamation point.
And it might get bailed out. Yeah, why not? Why, that seems consistent with what's happened throughout history, at least recent history.
Optimism said, just means Bitcoin is undervalued, right? Right. And Blockchain Book says, right. This is my go with Stacker.News and my construction engineering territory. The Chronicle. It's chronicling everything. I love it. Love to see it. Boop. That was the other one. That was all the AI stories I think I had this week. Let's jump into Keyan stories. Bit projects -IO turns off its 3,000 plus nodes. Bitcoin network keeps on going. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, so bitprojects.io is a project that someone created to communicate it appears that they were attempting to communicate to people that node count doesn't matter, and that you can have with some modest resources, you could make it appear like one node was several, in this case, several thousand. Because there was a lot of, over the last 6 months or so, there's been a lot, specifically from the Knots camp, there's a lot of noise about Knots nodes coming online. And I think their point was that it doesn't really mean anything. It's easy to Sybil node count because they're not doing any work. They're mostly residing in, they have like an IP address allocated to them is at most what you can say about them. And I guess they bought an IP address block, and they, with a little bit of networking magic, I think they made, I think probably tens of nodes appear like several thousand, and proved, I think, that you can't rely on node count for social consensus or any kind of consensus, really. They described the setup there. They had a 10 gig link. They had 3 Dell nodes. They had a half of a rack that was co-located. And they have other router configuration stuff, HA proxy. Okay, yeah, they said they had 12 to 36 times LXC Bitcoin nodes. I think LXC is a containerization framework. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and this was specifically the story was about them shutting down that project, and a lot of people noticed that they were shutting it down because they began to get a lot more incoming connections, like a huge uptick. 0xB10C shared a graph of the increase of incoming connections that they received because all of the nodes that were previously connected to these 3,000 fake nodes needed to find new nodes to connect to, and everyone's nodes on the network saw new incoming connections.
Yeah, so it looks like the top comment was from 02AD8. He said, "So what's the vulnerability? I don't get it." And then Darrow0 said, "Right, that made no sense at all. And what was the point of using all of those nodes to signal for BIP110 question mark?"
The vulnerability was mostly, it's not at like Bitcoin. It's not a vulnerability in Bitcoin. It's a vulnerability in some of the way Bitcoin influencers on X primarily were thinking about Bitcoin. That it's a vulnerability in those people's thinking about what node count and version of Bitcoin software as communicated by node count means. It means not nothing, maybe not nothing, very close to nothing, practically nothing. You can't count on it for anything.
Interesting stuff. Let's jump into the next one that you had. It was quantum computing bombshells that are not April Fools. This is from Scott Harrison. Scoresby posted it. 2,356 sats. Keyan?
This week there were 2 papers that came out about quantum stuff. One from Caltech, showing that they could do quantum stuff with, I think, less work than they previously thought. I don't actually understand all the things involved in any of these quantum circuits, but I guess they changed something about what they were doing and showed that it required less quantum things than it required before. And then similarly, Google showed that they had a quantum algorithm, like they implemented Shor's algorithm using a quantum circuit that required less qubits than was previously thought, I think by an order of magnitude. And then I shared the Scott Aronson thing because he's an independent party who isn't associated with anyone who's, as far as I know, is profiting for one way or another, or he doesn't seem to have a bone to pick against Bitcoin. And largely his conclusion was that, this doesn't really change much, except that there's been, maybe once we solve the problem that quantum computers have not yet solved, that would require breaking elliptic curves. This might shorten the timeline a little bit, but it's still not determinate how long away this is. And so, is it 5 years, 10 years, much longer? All this does is kind of change what happens as we get once those fundamental problems are solved, which are indeterminate, the length of time that it might take to solve them. And so,
Can you give Topher the mic real quick? Because I know he's working on some quantum stuff.
Yeah, but still kind of keeping that hush.
Okay. Take
But,
that out, Wumble. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is credible. I mean, this is just like the natural progression of science, and there's just too many advantages to quantum computing that this is going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of like, is it sooner rather than later? And
Looks like this person's in Austin too.
yeah, they're a professor at UT.
Car, you had this analogy the other day where it's like, you know, if you have this like crazy neighbor, and then your neighbor goes out and gets a gun.
That's for
It's
in-lab talk only.
You know, maybe it would be nice that you have a gun too.
I didn't say it like that. I said, because people were asking, we got into a big old discussion on quantum inside our Slack and stuff. And then, anyway, long story short, like, I was like, well, it's kind of one of those things where if your neighbor, meaning like the United States government, is like, just like shooting bullets in the air, like throwing ragers, like beating his wife, like doing all these different things. Like at some point, and at some point he's like coming over and knocking on your door and saying, "Hey man, you want to come hang out?" At some point you're gonna be like, you know, like, well, maybe I should protect myself just in case, because you know, if all I'm saying is like if the government gets a hold of this or if they're doing something with it, like there's no telling what they're gonna do with quantum and what they're going to attack with it. So as the next door neighbor that is Bitcoin, I think it's probably wise to like, maybe, I mean, we're always talking about like the government stuff in Bitcoin. And I feel like in this one scenario where it's like literally the government that is building out this stuff quietly, not telling anybody. We're all kind of like, oh no, but they're good on this stuff. Like, it's like, dude, they can't control themselves.
Yeah, like why not have like a little quantum protection, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that that's kind of analogy. It just makes sense to maybe have an idea of what's going on. But it looks like everybody does in Bitcoin. I'm not.
I mean, other people are already upgrading to post-quantum cryptography and different signature schemes.
But I think the debate for me personally has already, like, it doesn't, like we were talking about narrative earlier, and the narrative's already out there. So people already believe that quantum's a potential threat to Bitcoin. That's just what people believe. I'm not saying it's the truth. It's just the narrative's out there. It's already been set. And I mean, this is why Sama bought that podcast to set narrative. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, my concern isn't that like there's nothing we can do, because there's actually plenty of things that we can do. Like, because there's already like post-quantum cryptography that's being implemented all over the place. There's already like standards set for what post-quantum cryptography looks like what different algorithms should be used. Like that process of converting over is already happening in technology in general. So it's just a matter of like, okay, well, when is Bitcoin going to do it? And like, what is it going to take for Bitcoin to do it? Like, is it going to take an attack? Is it going to take like somebody actually proving that a key was compromised and that funds were stolen? And when is it like too late? You know, like my concern is that nothing happens until there's a provable attack that happens on Bitcoin. And then we're going to all panic and go, oh shit, okay, let's like grab whatever BIP is nearby on the shelf, and we're going to slap that on there. And then there's going to be like a mad dash for the exit where like everybody's like rushing to now upgrade their money so that they're like moving funds into like some sort of post-quantum address, and that's just going to be like a really messy, panicky transition versus like a nice, smooth, let's like do this fairly. If we were to just like start making this transition a lot earlier, not needing some sort of like disaster scenario to get our asses in gear, like that's my worry. What is it going to take for like Bitcoin to start making this transition?
I'm working on a piece. Like I started researching some stuff last night. I'm going to write it out this weekend, but I really do think we're at a place now where people's decision making is now, like, if this whole narrative is the truth type of world we live in, it feels like it is. It does seem like people have stopped separating people and facts and vibes from what's actually important. If that makes any sense. It's almost like I need to write out, but it's almost like it's trying to, people are subjecting themselves to this narrative and all this stuff, but are failing to realize that like the most important thing is like Bitcoin keeps going. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying like there's some people on the other side of this that are just like, they don't even want to look at that. They don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to like they can't step outside themselves to see like to assess it like rigorously with like reason and stuff like that. That's kind of my whole thing. It's just, I'm just surprised that a lot of people aren't even like taking it seriously enough to like reason through some of the probabilities.
Yeah. How do you wake people up, Carr?
I don't know.
How do you go like wake up sheeple?
I don't know. I would be curious. Like, so when they do this stuff, Topher, are they using like are they using AI to like, not to write this obviously, or maybe they are, I don't know, but like I would imagine they have access to AI to like figure out. This is why we're seeing a lot of this like
Oh, they're using AI to make what, technological breakthroughs?
yeah, do you think
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely they're doing that.
I was curious about that, like, because we've seen like a couple of these behind closed doors, and then get released later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to see. I mean, I've seen whispers. People post stuff online where it's like, hey, I've been like working with Claude or Codex and putting together like different math proofs and like solving like these like complex problems, doing like combinations of like humans and AIs where they'll like sort of like formulate ways to like figure out these like tough problems in mathematics and cryptography, and then like figure out some sort of solution, and then have other researchers just like shit test it basically.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like AI is accelerating that because just you can research things so much more quickly, and the AI is just its domain knowledge is so massive. It just has this understanding of everything. So there's just like crazy things happening in math, chemistry, biology, material science. Like this is like all these like crazy advances that are happening. It's got to be happening in quantum too. But yeah. So.
I also think too. I think the other really interesting thing that I've seen over and over is they're like, oh, but they won't attack Bitcoin. They'll attack all these other structures that the government controls, and they're like, but the one thing the government doesn't control is Bitcoin, and they're like, oh, but they're not going to attack that. I'm like, that's just dumb. That's like saying like the whole neighbor thing. It's like, oh, I'm okay because I'm friends with him. It's like, no, dude. Eventually he's going to come after you too. I just don't believe that. I think that's just dumb thinking, like that the government won't attack Bitcoin once they have quantum figured out.
Why not?
I feel like it's like the first thing to get people's attention.
Well, so like there's this thing where you'll have these insiders that know something, whether it's like in a big company or in government. And so they know something that the public doesn't, and so they'll go on Polymarket and they'll like place these bets, and then X happens, and then they cash out and they make a bunch of money, and it's like, well, were they just really lucky in predicting that X would happen, or did they have like insider knowledge? And so, a quantum attack on Bitcoin, it's not just like about stealing money from a Bitcoiner. It's more like, well, you're going to cause this mass panic in the market, and then that movement itself is an asymmetry you can make money on, like tons of money on.
Yeah.
So I would think of it like, what is the dollar sign value on doing a quantum attack on Bitcoin from that perspective, like moving the market itself? It's got to be a lot of dollar signs.
I will say, if the government's listening right now and they're thinking about attacking Bitcoin, go after Ethereum first. Go after like some of these other poop coins first, and then that way we get the jump on it. That's all I would ask.
Yeah, do ETH bros even like argue about this stuff?
Ethereum's waiting for you right there. Just go attack.
Do you think ETH bros argue about like this quantum stuff?
No, because this is like, because they can just print more, right? Like, I feel like with Bitcoiners, we're a little bit more serious about it, or it should be, but not everybody is. I would just advocate, let's go after Ethereum first. Let's go after some of these other shit coins. Like, if you have a quantum computer, don't go after Bitcoin.
But that's where all the money is.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's the quantum thing this week. Keyan, do you have any other thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Keyan's done with the quantum.
Keyan's done with the
quantum FUD.
People were talking about it, so it's like, let's mention someone who I would listen to, the guy who I've been paying attention to around the quantum stuff. And I don't get it all, but I want. That's how I keep track, more or less, is by listening to that guy, the Scott Anderson guy.
Yeah. Check it out. Scott Anderson. Scott Harrison.blog. Yeah. I know Tober's been playing with some of this stuff, or he was telling me it was, so.
He said it's quiet, though.
I said it twice, but they already know now. But anyway, Topher, keep me in the loop. Keep us in the loop. Anyways, cool stuff. We're going to jump into Keyan's final story this week. It was what problems exist when intelligence is free. This is from Roy, the Holograph Universe. 650 comments. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, I just thought this was an interesting question, or it led me to an interesting conclusion that I didn't really have before, which was that I think we all assume that when we have infinite intelligence and it's free and abundant and ubiquitous, that all of our problems are solved, and I think that's probably wrong. I think it is, intelligence is a serious bottleneck for us right now, but I would guess that once intelligence is solved, we'll find another bottleneck shortly after. And I came to this conclusion after I think this was asked on a Saturday, and I was talking to Space Ted, and Space Ted was like, there was some anecdote where a group of people were asked, what is the meaning of life? And they said food. And that's because food was the main scarcity of food was the main problem that they were facing. And so, like, all of their life was reduced to attempting to acquire more food. And I think that's kind of the situation that we're in right now, but rather than food, it's intelligence. And so we're like constrained around intelligence. We see that as like the main bottleneck to getting kind of what we want or having the life that we want. And we have to spend all this time exercising our own intelligence. And anyway, I don't have an answer of what exact problem will exist, because I think I'm too blinded by our need for more intelligence to come up with that answer. But I would guess there definitely are other things on the side of, or other problems on the other side of free intelligence.
Yeah, I think the biggest interesting thing about this is, like, you know, when you have like you said, it was like a free intelligence thing. I think the only other thing to work on at that point is like virtues and your capacity to love. And I think that's, to me, it's probably more of a chance now to be a well-rounded person. I mean, that sounds kind of hokey, but it's kind of like, like you said, in a world where intelligence is free and you're never going to be satisfied because you're going to have that thirst. The only thing to work on outside of that is all these other things that you could only get by things that aren't free, right? So,
Yeah. Perhaps at an individual level, there'll still be a problem of like being happy, feeling good about yourself. The kind of ethical, moral problem still exists.
Yeah, the interior life. Yeah, it's like the stuff that that intelligence can't solve.
Yeah, I think that beyond that, I think there are exterior problems that intelligence also won't be able to solve. And it's just really hard to see that until we like run into them, because it's not like the hunter gatherers would have set that centered their lives around food and were mostly limited by food, ever anticipated that after they had all this food, they would approach a period of time where they needed to build massive, 9.2 gigawatt data centers that cost $500 billion using money from multiple nations harvested by taxes around the world so that they could construct an intelligence to begin solving problems for them. I don't think they would have, they can't predict that. And so I think we'll see, there will be a version of that for modern peoples.
Yeah, but like if you take an alternative approach to that, like a lot of the things that we got early on back then was through love, right? It was like through love of a neighbor. That led to community, love of another woman. That led to more children, further prospering in generations. And yeah, I think now we're kind of getting to a point where people are losing sight of love and what that brings into the world. And it seems more, it seems just a little bit more greedy out there than it used to. Makes you wonder like how that's going to play out. At least for me, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, okay, cool. Like, let's go down this path and see how that plays out. But it's that's why it's worrisome, I would say. It's because it's not coming from a place of love that's building things up.
Yeah, I could see problems like that. I mean, maybe the problem is once intelligence is free, there's humans go extinct, and there these interior human problems aren't really much of a problem. But just thinking about it more from like a technology as the protagonist, independent of humans, what problem does technology face or progress face that was initiated by humans? What does it face?
I think technology is like the lack of a human involvement is probably the biggest problem it faces. But I think maybe like the robots will figure that out and then we'll be extinct. But see, that kind of goes into kind of where like all these big AI guys talk about around like where this is headed and why they're so nervous about it. I don't know. Anon said something, because one problem is that intelligence will be more free for some than for others. We don't all have vast reserves of oil or nuclear power stations with which to power the intelligence. Also, will be the problem of evil people with lots of money combining it with robotics to form enormous armies where all soldiers are interconnected to each other, as well as a super brain that will lead other states to do the same in order to be able to defend themselves, which then leads to states with the power to deploy vast robotic armies on their own. We're stepping into the matrix. Or no, if they step out of the matrix.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think, it won't be absolutely free. Intelligence won't be absolutely free. But if it's like super desirable, and I think unlike something like nuclear weapons, it can't be hoarded and controlled as easily. I would guess that intelligence will be widely dispersed enough that large groups of people, should they want to rise up against a central authority, might not, but shouldn't. I don't imagine they'll have a hard time relative to more traditional weaponry or more kinetic weaponry.
Yeah, then Dan posted a link to his article that he wrote last month, which I think we covered, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm here for it. Every week. Let's go back to... Yeah, let's go to my top stories this week. The first one is the privacy attacks on Lightning you need to know about. This is from Socratic. He said that blinded paths are a real improvement. They're not a magic shield. Don't let anyone tell you they make your node untraceable. Here are the actual attacks to keep in mind of. And then he said the CLTV correlation, graph analysis on small nodes, payment probing, introduction, and node visibility. And then we got some spicy comments here from Darth. Keyan, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I mean, Lightning privacy isn't perfect. I mean, in most systems, if you analyze them, they always have some gap between what would be ideal, like zero information leak or whatever. And so Lightning has some exposed privacy edges that we tend to enumerate over time and try to knock them off one by one. And these are definitely some of them.
And it looks like he shared the route blinding attack analysis that T-Bass and Rusty put together here. What is route blinding? Oh, is this the onion thing? Interesting. Cool. Well, it looks like they're working on it. That's always good to see, right?
Yes.
I think it'll be more private over time. It's definitely private now if you know how to do it, from what the guys tell me in the lab.
Certainly for paying. Payer privacy is great. I think that I think Socratic is some of these are enumerating issues that primarily reside on the receiver side.
I did try the Lex app. I did download it. Where is it at? The Lex one? Yeah, I downloaded that one. Could not connect to now. Try again later. Offline mode. Never mind. It's not working. It was working last week. Anyways.
Did you get a channel open with them?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's a nice wallet. I think it's a great competitor to something like Phoenix. I think that really hasn't had real mobile competition in a long time. That at least a solution that doesn't use swaps like Breeze or some of these Spark wallets.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Darth had a question back to him. He said, who's going to attack me and for what? Darth said, yes, blinded paths are a good improvement, but I will challenge you to trace my LM payments if you can. Yeah, he goes, in my humble opinion, is more important to run a Lightning node than just a simple BTC Core or NOTs or whatever other one node. Yeah, there you go. Topher, you got any thoughts on privacy attacks on Lightning?
On Lightning?
Yeah. Any of those stand out?
I mean, these have been well known for a while. But yeah, I mean, they're important.
Cool.
Because there's this concept that Lightning is private, but there are ways that you can be de-anonymized. So it's a good thing to know. You're running from the state.
There you go.
Dodging bombs.
We're going to jump into my last top story this week. This was from Neat Creations. He posted, "Where are you sitting?" And then he posted the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Keyan, do you know what this painting's about?
I think this is a supper that Jesus had with his apostles before he was murdered.
Yeah, so this actually, because he puts here, like, where are you sitting? This is actually not them just, like, eating supper. This was when Jesus announced to them that one of them was going to betray him. And so it's interesting to see everybody's kind of asking questions like, who? This is probably, like, John right here. Apostle John. Yeah.
I guess they didn't have razors yet. Huh?
where are you saying, Keyan?
I'm probably not. Sitting, I might be standing. I don't know if they have standing desks yet back then, but maybe I'd use one of those. So
I'm probably not that special to be in there, but definitely listening. I want to share these because I thought this was cool because today's Good Friday, and this is what's happening around the world on this special day. There's the Pope there carrying the cross, which is a big thing because in the past two haven't done that. People here. Then we have other people redoing like reenactments of the crucifixion. We have people here. I don't know where that's at. It looks like, is that New York or Brooklyn? Yeah. We have people here. Oh man, these are just coming up everywhere. More people here. These are like, I think this is in India. Yeah. And we have this lady here. It's like really crying. And then we have some more stuff here. That was on, that's in Germany. Everybody's doing the reenactments. Gosh, it gets so bloody to watch. Yeah. I think the other one was this one here. This was from The Guardian. They also shared some photos from around the world. A lot of reenactments.
I was in Spain by accident one year when they did Good Friday, and it was quite. There was a lot of festivities. It was quite fun, actually. A lot of stuff in the streets. Lots of parade-y type activities.
Yeah, so it was pretty out there. Really interesting to see. Good Friday, but yeah, thanks to Neat Creations posting this, and yeah, we're gonna jump into all the. We have one more. We have actually two more. I forgot about these. So Plepo had released another zine this week. This one's called Stacker.News Zine, Making the Ephemeral Immortal. Keyan, did you take a look at this one yet?
It's not a zine. This is actually talking about how there isn't a zine this week. And
okay.
This is just a 1 year, it's like the 1 year anniversary as Club Poet, I think, mentioned last episode, or we mentioned about Club Poet last episode. There won't be a zine this week. And instead she is using it as a reflection, or to reflect on 52 issues that we did over the last year, and maybe what she would like to do next in terms of the zine. And that's what this post is about.
Cool.
And yeah.
We're going to jump into the next one. The next one that you had was a meta one with Bob Burnett from Barefoot Mining. This was an AMA.
Yeah. Bob Burnett came on for an AMA, and it was pretty awesome. Lots of great questions and lots of great answers. A lot of people asking about Bob's BIP 110 support. I think they were the first, Barefoot Mining was the first miner to signal for BIP 110, I think. They got the first block in. So that was a conversation that came up quite a bit. But lots of other questions in there. From other, what do we have? General questions about mining, because Bob is very, very quite knowledgeable. He's relative to other miners that are mine at a scale. I feel like he's quite approachable, quite online, and quite familiar with like Bitcoin culture and involved in it. Yeah, so lots of great stuff in here. And I recommend reading through it if you're interested in mining, or how some miners might be thinking about BIP 110 and Yeah, data and blocks and stuff.
Cool stuff. That's all the stories that we have this week on Stacker.News Live. Let's going to jump into the Top Cowboy segment. The most popular segment in Bitcoin. It's the Cowboy segment. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, looks like a
Yeehaw.
total of nothing has changed. And Top Cowboys there, so
Yeah, nothing is.
I'm sure everyone is very happy that they tuned in. For
Tell you
that
what, last week when
impressive
Brandon
update.
was on the show, I bet you he's probably just like, he's like, wait a second, where's the Top Cowboys? And he was waiting for this whole time. We're still watching it.
Yeah, he's probably been craving it. Might have picked up a little addiction.
He's probably like, man, I'm just waiting for all show for this Cowboy segment. So here you go, the Top Cowboys.
Yeah, we should maybe put it like a flag in our YouTube
this
video,
could
like
be
where
the
it
most-
starts,
I
and people
mean-
just jump to it.
This is amazing. Look at this. All these Cowboys. Getting on up. Yeah.
Wow.
Who's the last one? I always like to see who the last one is. Gets my weekend going.
Oh no, yeah, this is the most exciting part. Right
This
here
is the most exciting. part.
which stacker?
Like who's a stacker? The last one. I mean,
Yeah,
my
who's-
weekend really doesn't kick off until I see who the last one is. Then I'm like, okay, weekend ready.
It's an
to
important. It's an important fact that I
Important
don't think
thing.
most people are.
Oh,
tracking
it's
yet.
Zeke this week.
Zeke.
Oh man, can you believe it? Yeah. Crowd is going wild. Can't believe it. Oh,
Longest streets.
boom.
Yeah.
Zeke.
Do you have a graveyard to show?
When people lost their hat,
Yeah.
like the longest hat that got lost. We should do that. Yeah, because I think Tony Giorgio would have one of those.
You'll love to see it.
He raged out about.
Giddy on
They
up.
lost
This
it.
is the Top Cowboys, baby. All right, that's that segment. Tune in next week for more of that.
Oh yeah.
More of that segment. You're not going to believe who's last next week.
It'll be mostly the same people.
My weekend has started now. Let's jump into the comments this week. They get a little spicy. Neat Gracia said, very interesting indeed and need more bit access solo mining, exclamation point, exclamation point. This was in regards to the Bitcoin mining 2-block reorg. What do you think about that, Keyan? Do you think we need more bit access? We have one.
I think he's generally suggesting that decentralized mining is good, and yes, I believe that we need more decentralized mining. I mean, it'd be great if we
How
could.
many bit access do you have, Keyan?
I have 0.
Oh,
Topher
has one.
I don't
Wants to give
have.
you?
I don't have one because I don't want to set it up.
you just don't want to have a bit there.
How can I
I-
spice it up for you?
I don't have to do any. I don't do anything.
Just plug it in.
Yeah, more or less, I plug it in. Maybe have to write my Bitcoin address in a terminal or something. That would be it. I just don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah, the other one's right over there. I don't think about it.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, you guys are doing the work for me. We all have our different roles in society, our different jobs and our tasks. And
I already got plenty of jobs I'm doing now.
Yeah,
But if I had the free time, I would become a bid axe merchant.
me too.
Seems like a humble.
I have so many jobs. Even my agent has jobs. Isn't that a cool thing to say?
no, it's not.
If not BIP 110, then what is the solution for clogging the network with spam? That can't be deleted from full archival nodes, Gary says, when we were talking about a layman's guide to BIP 110. Topher, I go to you.
Like, what is clogging the network exactly? Can we define that? Is it you can't get your transaction through? Is it transaction fees?
I feel like every time I use on-chain, it goes pretty through, baby.
Yeah.
Right through there.
Like one side of e-bike.
It's pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know much about this stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Gary's. I don't know if Gary's actually using Bitcoin or is just participating in conversations on social media. Is kind of repeating something they've heard, but there have been periods of time though that the network has been clogged with spam, where there's been quite a bit of congestion on chain as a result of some of the ordinal stuff. But it's been a long time since then. And I think the more important thing is like what What is this like? If I use an analogy or like a similar situation, like what is a solution to global warming if it's not pancakes? Like that's kind of like because that's kind of what he's saying is that
Like you make pancakes outside? Or?
well, it's like baked in his question is the assumption that BIP 110 solves clogging the network with spam, and most of us don't support it because it doesn't solve the problem. And similarly, pancakes don't solve global warming. So, but Gary, if you can tell me how pancakes don't solve global warming, I'll tell you maybe how BIP 110 doesn't solve global warming, or what the solution. If you can tell me what the solution is to global warming, then I'll believe that pancakes don't solve it. Is more or less what he's asking. He's like, you need to come up with a solution to prove to me that pancakes don't solve spam on Bitcoin.
Yeah. I would add to that people are complaining that the ice caps are melting and that we're all going to drown.
Yes.
Yet everybody's beachfront property is still the same. Like nobody's had to run away from the coast. Like nothing's changed. If anything, the water's receding. So, like,
What did you say, Tad? You have beachfront?
No. He said that global warming is happening.
In Massachusetts?
no, but it's saying he has
Oh,
more
in Maine.
beachfront now.
He has more beachfront now because of the global warming. See, it helped two people, Al Gore and Ted.
Yeah.
The other one was most of us can't afford the flagships! Exclamation point. At least they have more than one brand of hardware! Exclamation point. This is from Kyle Dean Daily on the Graphene OS thing.
Yeah, it seems like he believes some of the wrong things that we said in the video, and feels pretty great that Graphene will have more than one hardware provider in the future, which they won't. But that's what we thought they were saying in that video.
I mean, you could buy like how much is a Pixel 3? Like, you go buy it.
They're like $150 on Amazon. If they're still there, they're probably gone now.
Also with like AI, I feel like some Chad can just go out there and like hack a fork of graphene to run on like a super cheap
For sure.
smartphone or something.
Yeah, I would say Kyle, do some AI stuff maybe.
Yeah.
Fork your graphene.
Send Claude
Yeah.
to the code mines.
Yeah, but they lose all the security updates and everything. That's the only problem with all that stuff. But
That would be cool to like a graphene fork for like a super cheap phone, $20 Walmart phone.
yeah, the Bake said, "Stay in your weight." I don't know. I feel like his. What does that mean?
We were talking about Ozempic.
No, we're talking about simplification of the economy.
Yeah, but Bake is telling a joke.
Oh, I get it. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. And then the other one was from RB Jinja. Ninja? G Ninja.
I did read that as Jinja.
Oh, Jinja.
It's like a ginger ninja.
That's what I thought. They said Peter Thiel is connected to the Antichrist! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! It definitely vacationers at Davos in quotes together if he's not it himself! Exclamation point! Keyan, I go to you.
For
What
what?
do you think? What do you think about that comment?
I can't read it, but I don't. It sounds kind of just like there's a lot.
There it goes right there.
Oh yeah, maybe could have.
That's what he said right there. Davos is kind of weird.
They definitely.
I didn't see him in Davos this year, but I saw everybody else.
Oh, okay, saying Antichrist visit Davos and they vacation there, and Peter Thiel is an Antichrist or is connected to them. I don't really know who's the Antichrist, so I can't say whether that is true or not. That is kind of what I have to say about it. Thanks for the question.
How would you define the Antichrist?
How would I define the Antichrist?
Isn't there,
Somebody
like, a
who's
formal
not.
definition?
Yeah, somebody who's not with Christ. Is the Antichrist.
So there's like 50% of the population is the Antichrist.
Probably, yeah, at least 50%.
Dying.
I thought it was.
I mean, that's how I would define it, but I don't know if that's like accurate. But I mean, that's how I would define it. Cool. But yeah, in that kind of definition, Peter Thiel's not, because from what I know, he's some sect of Christianity. And then I got Undisputed said, if you zap me 100K sats on SN, you get a cowboy hat. Wait a second. What does that mean?
It's a nice little scam there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Undisputed. That's how you get a cowboy hat. Is that how you get a cowboy hat?
Is he wrong?
I cannot
Do you know how to get a cowboy hat on Stacker.News?
confirm or deny.
You don't even know, right?
I thought it's just
You're not-
a post.
you're not-
You do some sort of activity on Stacker.News.
See, you literally have people in blah blah that don't even know how to get a cowboy hat. That's how you know.
It's an Easter egg.
Every time I interact with Stacker.News, I get
Oh, you do? Okay.
I get and lose hats like
All the daily. Yeah, that's true. Blockchain Book said zap. There you go. And that's all we got for this week's episode of Stacker.News Live. Keyan, what are you doing this weekend?
I don't think I'm doing anything. Last I checked, I'll have to confirm with all the people that like to, all the activities that I usually pick from. I'm not sure I'm not doing any of those. I'm not doing anything. How about you? What are you doing, Car?
I think today's still, kind of taking it in. It's Good Friday, so it's good to, think about Jesus and all that stuff. And then tomorrow, Easter Vigil. It's happening tomorrow, so I'll go to that. And then Sunday's, Sunday's the day. So I think, it's just going to be a full weekend of, church stuff. I'm looking forward to that cake tomorrow at the Vigil. That should be fun.
What cake do they serve usually?
So last year, me and Juan went to the Easter Vigil together, and dude, they had free cake and punch at the end. Boom. And
Free
your
cake and
and your
punch?
boys got invited. Boom.
What kind of cake?
It was like all sorts of kinds. I think there's like 2 different kinds.
I thought you didn't like
It's
cake.
fun.
I thought we learned that on your birthday that you don't like cake.
I don't like chocolate cake.
Interesting. But you like chocolate. You said your favorite ice cream is Rocky Road,
but that's not chocolate cake.
But it is chocolate ice cream. So you like chocolate.
No, it's
you like
Dutch,
cake.
It's Dutch chocolate.
But you
There's
don't
a
like-
difference.
You don't like them together. What's the difference between Dutch chocolate and other chocolates? Do you know?
Dutch.
It's made by white people.
Whoa!
I'm like trying
Whoa,
to.
calm down.
You don't have like Mexican chocolate ever?
Oh yeah, we do. It's called cacao.
Well, it's the same.
I don't know. Is it the same? Is Mexican
Yeah.
is Mexican chocolate cacao, or is that something else?
It is. It's all cacao.
Yeah, it's cacao, right? But what's the? Because mole also has chocolate too, and I love mole.
It's also
Yeah,
cacao.
I don't know exactly, but I like cacao.
But only if it's called
It's
Dutch.
good though.
Or
Remember those
for
cacao
Mexicans.
drinks? Remember those cacao drinks that we had? Those are good, dude. After one, I was done, dude.
Straight from a tree.
Me and Oliver were like done. We were like, what? Just spaced out. That was fun.
You guys took drugs?
No, so they
that involve
make
chocolate?
like cacao, but they turn it into like a what do you call it? Not a beer, but it's like a spiked drink, right?
It's
like
kind of like a liqueur,
yeah, it's like a liqueur thing.
Oh.
It's good, dude. It's so good. I kind of want one right now. It's like baba tea, but for like cacao. That's the best way. It tastes like baba tea, but like good.
Is that the same thing as boba tea?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Baba. It's like a drink in Star Wars. That you get.
Baba
What do you
tea.
get when you're a bounty hunter?
Is it called bubble tea? Bubble tea?
Boba.
Oh, well,
That's
that's
how you
dumb.
pronounce it, I guess. I agree. It's like spelled weird.
I thought it was called baba.
How do you say Baba?
Baba tea.
Bubba tea would be a great name for it.
Well, that's what I always order, bubba tea. Anyways, Tover, what are you doing this weekend?
Eating fish tacos.
Oh, wow. Did you catch a fish, or
No,
did you go to the fish market and then?
no, I leave all that up to other people.
Oh, that should be fun. Man, that's gonna be fun.
I'm just gonna eat tacos.
Looking forward to that. Cool stuff. Well, Stackers, have yourself a great weekend. Have a great Easter weekend, and we'll see you back here next week with some whole new stories. How about